So I'm talking to Matt O'Donnell from Tarmac Adam, and how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
And so you started this project in 2003.
Yes, that's correct. So way back when, so it's 10 years really since we released the first Tarmac Adam record, and that came about by I'd sort of been making records on and off and touring a bit for probably the previous 5 to 10 years, and was in the process of making the next solo record, and met a guitarist called Sean McVitie who knew Paul Hester, who knew Nick Seymour. And so over a period of about a year, we started working with Paul Hester, and then Nick came on board, and it was the first time that those two had worked together since Crowded House had split up. And then I ended up going over to Ireland where Nick lives and working with him for a couple of months on the first record.
So Paul Hester was on the first album, was he?
Yes. So Paul played drums on that record, which was called Handheld Torch.
With your current lineup, you've got Ruben Alexander on drums and Josh Barber on percussion.
Yeah.
So what percussion is Josh doing?
There's a whole range of percussion on this record, so lots of shakers and lots of tambourines, and there's bongos on a track, and there's lots of just strange sounds that we sort of made in the studio of Josh hitting, different surfaces that gave us a certain texture or sound that we're after. So we split that up. I mean, Ruben does percussion as well, but it was more that we had an opportunity to work with Josh, who we've known for a long time, and just to get him involved with the record because he's a great rhythm player.
And so on this current one, you still have Nick Seymour in the band as well as Steve Pay.
Yeah, it's Steve Pay. So it's French. It's French for peace.
All right. And is he the peacekeeper in the band?
He's a very good call, Kat. He's definitely the peacekeeper in the band. He is the nicest person in the band, and is much more focused on finding a peaceful road towards a decision, a peaceful path, rather than us getting stuck with moments of conflict when we're making a record. Yeah, so and then Nick came on board. So Nick Seymour had a break from his Crowded House schedule, and he was out here. He lives between Dublin and Melbourne, and he was out here over the summer, so it sort of worked out that he was available to play on this record as well.
So they're all on the record, but like you said, Nick lives in Ireland.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where the other guys live. Are they in Melbourne or are they all over the place?
Ruben lives in Sydney, and the rest of us live in Melbourne.
So how do you organise a touring schedule?
Well, that's always a challenge, and I'm not sure how we're going to tour this record. It really depends on how the record goes, but there's core members of the band, so Steve and myself, and then it's easy enough for Ruben to sort of get on board when we're touring, and regardless whether Nick's available will determine whether he comes out on the road, but most likely, it just depends what size tour we do.
Is there any plans to possibly go to the UK and do some shows?
Not at this stage. It'll be America will be the first port of call in terms of overseas, and really just because that's where a big focus has been for the record, which was released there on last Tuesday the 19th.
And you've got actually one of your songs, Bygones, is a free download on rollingstone.com.
That's correct. So that came out of Rolling Stone US. So there's a bit of activity in America. College radio, I think the record's been picked up by 40 stations over there, and it's getting a good run. There's some online spaces like Rolling Stone, and a couple of other magazines have picked it up and are doing reviews, and there's some compilations that some different tracks are on as well. But it was great to get that Rolling Stone spot.
Who's Adam?
Well, Adam really represents the whole idea of Tarmac Adam. It comes from originally the name for tarmac in different parts of the world is actually Tarmac Adam. And so we sort of liked that, we liked the words work really well. And Tarmac Adam sort of tied into this idea of, I suppose, the music that we write is it's sort of very cinematic and landscapey. There's lots of layers, and certainly thematically, lyrically, it's very much around life's journey, I suppose. So it's sort of tied in with that. And then the other idea of Tarmac Adam is, Adam sort of represents, sort of connects with first man, every man sort of journey, if that makes sense.
So how long did it take you to write and record and get this album to where you wanted it to be?
Well, there was probably there's 12 songs on the record, and I reckon four of those songs were ready by, were already written by the end of 2011, and we made a decision on Christmas Eve, I remember it quite clearly, that we were going to make this record. And on that day, we booked tickets to Nashville to work with the mix engineer over there called Rob Feaster at a studio called Quad Studios. And we booked that for May the 5th, I think it was, to start in Nashville to mix the record. So we gave ourselves that time period, so 4 and a bit months, to write and record the record.
Mm.
And so it was a very intense writing and recording period, but an incredibly enjoyable process as well.
So how does it feel when you actually have it finished and put it out there?
Yeah, amazing. It feels great. You know, it's something that we've sort of lived with for, over 12 months now, and for it finally to be sort of released into the public sphere, in some ways it's a feeling of relief and also a bit of excitement and a bit of trepidation, because you sort of make something like this, and it's a very big record, and we sort of put a lot of ourselves into it. And it's just your thing, you know. You're in your space when you make it, and you're developing the songs and things like that. And there's this process of really, I suppose, having to let it go when it gets released out into the big wide world out there.
Mm.
But it's mixed feelings. But ultimately, we're really proud of the record, and I'm really looking forward to people sort of having an opportunity to hear it, I suppose.
And you're on Facebook at Tarmac Adam Music.
That is correct.
And the single's available there to download?
Yes, actually, that was just set up today. You can link through to that, yep.
And, of course, you're on SoundCloud and Twitter, and you've got links from your website to all your social media.
And there's some links through to Vimeo where there's some interviews and things, but we are in the process of spreading them out onto all the outlets as such.
You may have a bit of trouble with this one, but do you have one moment in your music career that stands out?
Well, I sort of have my musical experiences which really stand out for me. And in terms of events and things, you know, to be honest, where we are right now with this record and, you know, getting the reports and the feedback of how it's going in America, and like, you know, I was driving on some tarmac today, and I sort of pinched myself thinking, God, how fortunate I am to be, you know, to have just released this record, which was an amazing thing to make last year. And, you know, I'm doing some interviews this afternoon, and we're getting great reviews on the record, and it's getting, you know, played on lots of radio stations across America. So in terms of a one event, right now's a pretty special time, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's an amazing space to be in.
Well, considering this is a new record, and like you said, you got all the airplay in America, you're going to head over to America. I think in 6 months you may even have another answer for that question, because you may have some more pinch me moments coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to look forward to. And the album is The History Effect, and it is available through your website, which is tarmacadam.com.au, and you can be found on Facebook at Tarmac Adam Music. And Chalk on Slate is the current single.
And it's available on digital stores as well as of today.
Well, I saw on your website, on your buy link on your website, you can buy it either as a hard copy or as a digital download.
That is correct.
And if people buy the hard copy, are you going to autograph them?
Absolutely.
That's good to know.
But they have to write in there, no, when they buy it, if they buy it off the website, they have to make a note and say that they heard about it on your program.
Yeah, all right. I'll make sure I put that up. It's been great talking to you.
Yes, you too.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. And, good luck with everything that you've got coming up, and enjoy it.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.
Cheers, bye.